Welcome to Thoughts in the Glass podcast. I'm LaToya.
And I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts and opinions on a variety of topics.
Oh, shit. Sorry. So sit back, relax, and join us on a journey of real, raw, and ridiculously funny commentary. I'm sitting here waiting for you to say, so Kendra,
what's the drink in the night?
I'm like...
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is another old episode that they're reposting. It is, but before you leave, let me convince you to stay. Yes, this is another old episode that we are reposting. However, as you guys know, things have been busy and we are in the middle of a break, but I still wanted to give some content. So what I would like to do is rewatch this episode with you and offer some commentary as we go through it, and we can discuss some other things that have been going on along the way. So is it a replay? Yes, but it will be a little different. We'll add some commentary to it and have a fresh discussion about a old topic. Let's get back into it. Well, every week we do a drink of the night. Kendra, what's the drink today?
So tonight's drink is just a Dark and Stormy. The way I do mine, it's very authentically how it's supposed to be done. So it's literally just ginger beer, and it's supposed to be Gosling's rum. We used Blue Dyer dark rum. I always add a splash of lime juice to mine, but the way it's done is just ginger beer and the dark rum. But you could also do it, and the recipe that we found, with bitters and adding the lime juice.
So it's like a elevated Dark and Stormy.
Yes.
I love that. Also, another variation of this is you can add a splash of apple juice to give it more of a apple flavor. And so that's what I did with this one. I made the Dark and Stormy traditionally, but I added a little bit of apple juice. Cheers. But it's actually not bad
It's
at all.
not bad at all.
So how was your week? What are you watching? What are you reading?
The week was good. Somebody keeps trying to get me to watch Severance.
If you haven't watched Severance, you should, because that is good. We're rewatching this episode, so obviously Severance is all the seasons are out now, so you can binge it. It's good. But I feel like everybody has been on that new show Nemesis with Matthew Shaw from Abbott Elementary. I haven't watched it yet, but I plan on binging it. Last couple weeks have been busy, so I haven't been watching much TV, but I plan on binging Nemesis. And for what I'm reading this month, I am reading a book called Soul Ties by Miss Cadence. I'll drop it in. It's about a girl who gets invited to a sex club. She has a one-night stand with the man there, and later she ends up having to work for him and his wife. It's pretty good if you like that kind of stuff. This is the urban romance, which y'all know I'm normally not into, but somebody had recommended it, so I was giving it a shot. If you like urban romance, and if you like Tubi movies and things like that, you will probably like this book. It's not too much of the gangs and drugs and all of that. There's a little bit of that in there, but it's not too much about that. And so I was actually able to appreciate this story because it really just focused on the interconnected relationships and the romance portion, and not all of the thuggery. So that is what I'm reading and watching, or not watching, plan to watch. Let's get back into it. If y'all have recommendations for us or something y'all think we should read, put them in the comments.
Question of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a fear of losing your identity and or rediscovering yourself?
I kind of do, yeah. I do. In a sense of, especially like in relationships or like in my marriage, I do feel that pressure of like, I know that two should become one, but there's a part of me that's like, but I still want to be my own person. You know what I mean? I guess for me, I don't fear losing my identity. I fear losing my individuality.
Okay.
I don't ever want to be, and that's in my marriage certainly, but even outside of that, even in friendships or in other connections with people, I don't want to be so consumed in other people that I forget what I want for me. You know what I mean? I feel like that can happen too with girlfriends. You start hanging around a certain group and like all of a sudden it's, well, you don't do this anymore. Well, you don't do that anymore. And it's like, oh, wait. Well, I stopped doing that because one of my girlfriends didn't want to do it, but now I don't even do it. You know what I mean? I'm not, I guess I am fearful of that. I was going to say I'm not fearful of that. I just keep it in the forefront of my mind and make sure that I'm not losing myself. But I do think that the fact that I am keeping it at the forefront of my mind, it's an indicator that there's some fear around that being possible. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I think that's kind of an area where I'm like, not constantly, but I definitely frequently check in with myself. Of, are you doing this because this is something you want to do? Or are you doing this because this is what everybody else is doing? Or the people around you are doing? Or because people are saying that's what you should do? And I feel that, which I think sometimes it can be to my detriment, because I feel that in certain situations we talked about, I was telling you, like, whenever I talk to other married women, a lot of times the women that I come across are very traditional. And I feel that pressure of, oh, you're not cooking dinner and doing this, all those traditional things. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I even sometimes feel a little bit like I have to overdo it. So this is a perfect time to jump into some of the things that I wanted to discuss and talk about, because this conversation is still relevant, right? Like, as we are getting older and looking at our lives and having things to do and things on our plate, things are changing for us, right? And we're moving and shaking and things are happening. And you don't want to lose your individuality. So as you guys know, right now we're on a break, right? Everything's going on. I mean, it's the time of year. So there's a lot of birthdays for Kendra's family and for mine, proms, graduations, baby showers, just a lot of stuff going on. And literally every time I'm available, she's got something going on. Or whenever she's available, I have something going on. And we just have not, for the last, I want to say 4 going on 5 weeks, we just have not been able to find time to record. And we've had our dedicated time, but what's been happening lately is different things are coming up on those dates that we originally said that we would be free. Now something has come up and we're not free. So we haven't been able to do it. And I think why that ties into this conversation is because while we enjoy doing this, right, we have our own lives outside of this. And so one of the big things for me and not wanting to lose myself is I still want to be able to do all the fun things that I do, right? And so what happens is you have to figure out how to prioritize that. And I think for me, where I have been lately is not that I prioritize those things over the podcast. It's just that, like I said, when I'm free, Kendra's busy. When Kendra's free, I'm busy. And what's happening for me, at least I'll just speak for myself, is now there's all these fun, different things that I want to do, that I want to be involved in, that I could say, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to carve out time to do this. But then something pops up on her end. And it's like, well, I could have, gone to, y'all seen me. I could have went to the book fair. I could have did this. I could have did that. So it's not a battle, because we, in our friendship, we have that freedom. We have that space. We have that respect where if there's anything she wants to do, I never would be like, well, you need to be recording. Girl, do your thing. Like, we could do this later. Because y'all got to remember, we're not getting paid for this. Like, this is just a hobby. It's something we like to do. It's something fun. And we have created the time to do it. But I think now we're just getting into a space where a lot of other opportunities and things are coming up. And so there's less and less time to link our schedules to be able to do it. And I do believe that we will get back to it. I just think this is a season of there's so much going on, and it's hard to find time to link up to, record the podcast. Okay, we can get back into it. Because if I start doing some traditional things, then I feel like maybe I'm only doing it because I was influenced and not because that's what I would really want to do. You know what I mean? Which maybe could be detrimental to me, because I think sometimes when you do that, it's limiting yourself. Maybe I could explore in this area, but because I'm afraid that I'm only doing it because I'm influenced to do it, I don't explore. You know what I mean? I'm just like, nope, I'm not into that. That's not what I'm doing. It is what it is, right? So I guess there's room for growth. Yeah. But I worry about that. If I keep exploring, I feel like I know who I am for the most part. If I allow these things to influence me and I keep going down a path that's not really me, one day I'm going to wake up and be not myself. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this. There are some things that I think in life, everything influences us, right? You didn't just start reading because you know what I'm saying? Somebody say, oh, put you onto this book. Well, now I'm in this book club. And you've done that. The book club is, okay, I'm going to read it because the book club wants to read it.
Right.
So I think as long as you continue to advocate for yourself and show up for yourself and don't fall victim to what basically taking on other people's, not necessarily personalities, but things that they like to do. As long as you're not doing it, because if you already have a fullness of yourself, of who you are, adding someone else's stuff isn't going to change who you are. It could only elevate where you at, right? So, for example, being a single parent, these kids, now I'm adding myself in with someone else, right? And so there are things that I did not have to do, or things that wasn't high on my priority, where I know who I am, I know what kind of person I am, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. But knowing I'm in this relationship, and not that my parents were super traditional, they were just very, whatever needed to be done got done.
Right.
On my end, I'm more want to be traditional of cooking dinner, doing all the things, but also understanding that wasn't always my deal. So I'm not going to say, I'm a single parent, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, can you wash the clothes, or can you cook dinner tonight? I may cook, but I leave all the food in it at his house because he brings my lunch every day. I don't feel like I have to do the whole gambit of things that I usually do. I take what I feel I'll do it for a minute, and then take what actually still feels good to me. If I'm cooking every day and I'm like, I love to cook, I love feeding my family this and for Sunday dinner, but throughout the week, that's not going to work, right? But that doesn't mean every Sunday I don't cook dinner, because that's something that I do. So now I'm like, well, now to make it easier on everybody, now I do 2 meals on Sunday so that we don't have to cook throughout the week. Which now other things that I might be interested in doing, I'm gonna meet up with my friend for dinner, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. No one else, everybody's like, oh, we already have food in the house. It just needs to be warmed up. It just needs to be put on the stove. But mom already cooked for the week thing. You know what I mean? So I think that people take the traditions, as long as you can make it your own, I think that helps in not trying to overcorrect something. Because you'll say, well, I don't want to lose myself. Meaning people, I don't want to lose myself, so I'm just not going to do this. And then you end up losing out on something else because, or realize, oh, now there's something that I do enjoy doing, or I do like to do. I just didn't want to do it because I felt like if I did this, it would turn me into something else. And so many people that end up missing out on opportunities because of their thoughts of, well, if I do this, then I'm not, and moving it forward of like how we do as dating. Like, I'm Black, so I'm not going to ever date or talk to a white, I'm not going to date outside my race. But then you don't know what you've cut yourself off to.
Absolutely.
Right? I think all those things come the same. Now, you have your own ideals, and it can be because of your ideals you don't do it. But if it's like, I don't do it because of a superficial or of I just don't know if that's for me, then I think sometimes we do put ourselves in a position where we just...
So let me give you some behind the scenes background context about this episode. I do a really good job, at least I think a good job, of trying to edit and things like that. But this particular episode, I don't know what was happening. This is from a couple of years ago. So we were using different equipment. And as we are recording, we end up not having enough storage on the laptop to save the recording. So you may be able to tell, you may not be able to tell, but I literally had to take play the recording on my laptop and take my phone and record the screen of the laptop on my phone just to get because I could play the video, but I couldn't save it. So just to get the footage, I had to play it on the laptop, record it, re-record it again on my phone just to get the footage. And then that is what was uploaded so that we could have the episode.
I think it gets like that, right? Yeah. You build that wall, you're in survival mode and you're like, whatever, I'm good, I got it. Mm-hmm. But then when you see how it can be, then it's like, oh, that's how it is. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you really lost yourself? Or
in my children, yes. Having kids early, actually, it's a twofold. I think I never gave myself the chance to learn myself. So I had all these ideals of what, the kids gonna get older, you're gonna be able to do this, you're gonna be able to do this. That's never been your personality, right? Yeah. From young, I was never somebody that was like, I'm gonna be traveling by myself. I'm gonna be doing such and such. I've never been that type. I'm a social person. Yeah. I like to be, we doing something, we in the mix. And the thing is, I also, and then somebody said this, it's a Leo thing. I want everybody around, but people to leave me alone.
I was gonna say, you're a social person.
I am social.
You are though. You are.
I'm very when
you are, but then don't be at the same time.
This is the thing. I want everybody around. So when my social light is on, everybody's there for me to be social with. When my social light is off, I also want to just be able to go by myself. But it only takes a nap, and I'm back in the mix. So don't leave. That's it. I just need to charge. I'm like a phone. Play. Hey, okay.
But no, you like a phone, but you like an old phone that don't got that much battery.
It don't got that much battery. Right. Put me on a charger real quick.
I'm gonna be out here with y'all for a couple hours.
And that's it.
And then I need to recharge, and then I can tap back in.
But it's all here. What's the face? The systems is still working. the jokes is gonna flow. I just need a nap.
How do you, so now that the kids are getting older, how do you rediscover?
I don't know. And that's the hard part too, right? Because rediscovering myself or trying to figure out who I am, you can't make the same mistakes that you would when you were 18, 19, 20, 21. More of my friends are either having kids and or they have done the things. And so their thought of like their things about like having fun is like going to TJ Maxx or doing the other stuff. Yeah. And then also I don't have a lot of friends. And so I don't like to wear myself out with just a few people. I don't.
So is making friends a part of it? Because I know that you're very like particular.
I'm very particular. And that's the thing. That's the other problem. Because I'm so particular, people think that I'm mean. And I'm not mean. I'm just particular on who I feel like having time with.
Yes.
And also, people we want to hang out regularly, and I'm not your regularly hangout type of girl.
One episode we got to get into that because I'm not really either. Which people probably be like, y'all hang out all the time. We do, but we don't though.
This is the thing. We hang out and we have a 2-hour situation. We chit chat sometimes when we're at work, but we don't hang out. Yeah. Like we very rarely are like, hey, let's go out to lunch. Or hey, let's go out to dinner.
Or if we do, it's like pre-planned.
But honestly, like we went out in January. In February. We have not gone out since the cruise.
True. True.
But you would think like, y'all are friends, y'all hang out all the time. It's like, no.
Yeah, that
we have true. Good conversation. Yeah. But we don't like you have your whole like you.
But also though, it's like that with all my friends. Yeah. Like I'm not. So but I'm saying that to say, and I know this ain't what we're talking about, but that is true for me too. Like I don't be wanting to hang out all the time. Like it's like I do, but I don't. I feel like people on the outside looking in and be like, girl, you always doing something. And I'm like, it looks like that. But when you think about a whole month and I maybe hung out maybe 2 to 3 weekends out of the whole month, and then weekend meaning like Saturdays. So maybe 2 to 3 Saturdays out of the whole month, I hung out with one of my 5 friends. Like, me and Tiffany went to the barbecue. The last time I hung out with her was before we went on the cruise.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I haven't hung out with Tiffany since then.
Right, so...
But I've been kicking with her at work all the time.
Right. And then, like, even my girlfriend, Crystal, I know I told y'all about how me and her hung out for her birthday. But I hadn't hung out with Crystal, I want to say, since my birthday in September. So... It be like, oh, you be always doing something, and it's like, yes, I do, but I don't really, and I don't know how to explain that.
You do stuff, but you don't always have to do stuff with people.
That's true.
So your doing stuff is this is how I look at it. I think you think about it as when you're out and you by yourself, you're just running errands and being out. Yeah. People on the outside be like, no, you out and about, you doing stuff, you in the mix. And you're like, no, I'm just not in the house.
Right.
But when you with people, you're like, no, I really did something.
Right.
Because I had company.
Yeah.
But other people are like, no, if you out the house,
then you're doing something.
You're doing things.
I think you're exactly right. I look at it like, I just be out and about.
Yes, you just
but then when I'm with
muddling around in my
girl, I mean, what they say, dilly and dally.
Dilly and dally every Saturday I got the dilly or dally.
Yes, one or both.
One, both, or all of the above.
But yes, I don't hang out with my friends regularly. But when we do, and I appreciate that because I know there are some people who need that constant, like, I ain't talked to you, I ain't hung out with you. I
cannot. I am
like, don't hold me to that.
Don't listen. A lot of people be like, don't hold me to everything. Don't hold me to anything. Unless I'm like, we're going somewhere.
Right.
Like we said we're going such and such, cool.
Like we made reservations or we made plans, it's on the calendar.
I'm cool.
I know I'm going.
If I say it's a possibility,
right,
more often than not, it's a no.
This is so timely, right? At least for me, I think so. Because I think that we have been authentic throughout the podcast. So as we're rewatching this and thinking about the things that we were saying a couple years ago and how it is still true to this day, y'all know me, I will go and dilly and dally. I will. And so I just think that that's true to my personality and that's true to who I am. And this is a perfect time for me to bring this up because I did want to talk about how the podcast could look moving forward. And I think I may have said this before, but I think that if we do, I think we will get back to a space where we will have time to sit down and do the podcast. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm playing with the idea of maybe we might have some episodes that are just like blogs of things that we're getting into, because I feel like I'm doing more things now than I was even then. And maybe not, maybe I'm just showing you guys more. Like maybe it's the same amount of me going out and doing things. I'm just showing it more like on my social media. And I know we have talked about recording things more and things like that. And I've been trying to work on that and trying to be better about that. And so because we can't always get our schedules together, I have been kind of playing with the idea of, and you guys give me feedback on if this is something that you would want to see, but I've been playing around with the idea of maybe we could do blogs, like when Kendra's out and doing things with her family, she could blog that, and then we can do an episode where you see the footage and we just kind of take you through, hey, this is where we went, this is what we did, how we like the experience. I don't know if those will be hour-long episodes, but it could be a different type of episode, but still weekly content. And the same for me. I'll start taking my phone with me, my camera. I told you I got a GoPro. I can start taking that with me, filming things, and the episode could be, hey, this is what we got into this week, or if not both of us, either one of us. Like, this is what Kendra got into this week. This is what I got into this week. I don't know. This is just an idea right now. I don't know how it will look, and I don't know if that's what you guys want to see, because it's different than the podcast style that we have now, where we just kind of talk about things and reflect on things. I don't know if our audience would want to see a blog, but I thought about it, and I thought because I think for me, ultimately, the thing is that we're not walking away from the podcast. So I don't want the channel to go silent. I want to be consistently producing content and not just reposting old episodes and have something fresh for people to engage with. But when we don't have time to, the other thing that y'all have to know about our episodes is we produce them, right? So we have discussions about what we're going to talk about, whether it be well, we've both been busy, so we're just going to catch up this episode, or we have a topic, what the drink is. So there's that planning that happens on the back end. And then there's the time that we dedicate to sitting down for an hour, sometimes more if we're doing batch recordings. And then there's editing, and then there's putting that out, right? So even when we find time to come together, we still need to produce an episode prior to us coming together, edit it afterwards, and put it out. And I think if we did it more of in a blog style, we could blog or vlog the situation as it's happening. Once that's done, we do our editing on the back end, and then we post it. And that content is a little bit more accessible, and we could put that out faster than the produced and curated podcast. And I know it seems like we just come on here, we just talk about anything, but if you know me personally, we're actually prepared, or I try to be somewhat prepared before we come on. So maybe we'll like, y'all let me know, like drop down in the comments and let me know what you would want. But that's an idea that I've been playing around with, so let's get back into it.
No, I get it. I think that's a part of it too, right? Like, as we get older, trying to figure out like yourself and what you want to do for yourself. It's like the family stuff too, right?
You get so lost in it.
Yeah.
And then you're with parents and grandparents, everybody getting older. And that's the thing, like, my grandmother moved, of course, I've been telling y'all, so she's closer. But now, it's not just like my parents and my grandparents. I also need to see like his grandparents, his aunt and uncles, his, like, it just expands more and more. I want to just lay down.
Do you feel like with all of that going on, right? Do you feel like that stuff becomes a part of your identity, or do you still long for, like, there's a version of Kendra that's outside of all of that?
So the version of me outside of that, she's a little boring. And I don't think I have the bandwidth to develop her personality.
Ooh, okay.
Because to develop her personality means to then something has to be off the board, right? Because that would mean like having to, it's not something that's already there, where it's like you just have to continue to water it and put food into it and stuff like that. This is like, I need to go to the Home Depot. I need to go get the mulch. I got to find a flower. I got to see which one works. I got to go see, is this the right season for that flower? So is this the right time for me to meet people? Is this the right person to be in my life right now?
Yeah.
Am I in a space where I don't want to meet single people?
Yeah.
Because that's not kind of the mode I'm in.
Yeah.
But then I don't also want to, because if you meet a couple, then that's not your self identity, that's your couple's identity. So then if something happens in the couple, somebody got to go.
Been there.
Right? So it's like, maybe if I had taken that time during single, no kids, like I always say, and I tell my kids every time, I love them dearly. But if I could do some things different, I would not have had them until later on in my 20s. To give me the space where I could get friendships and stuff like that. Because I could not really, I didn't have as much discernment as I should have had. And having kids without the discernment, you kind of meet people and you hanging out and this, that, and the fourth. But then when that doesn't work out, you get to a point where like, okay, well, I don't have time to go meet nobody else because such and such got to do this. So we got this going on.
Yeah.
And then even when you meet the kids' friends' parents, They go off to different schools. They do this, that, and the fourth. If they no longer friends with, like, I can't be friends with you, but my kids don't like your kids. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think if I had maybe like even true friends in high school, because like I had friends when I got pregnant. I'm going to school, and it kind of that better than personality, and I'm like, bitches.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know, because I've seen people that have had like kids early, but they still have like really good friendships with some of their friends from high school and stuff like that. I don't have those. And then the people that, again, because I'm a very particular type of person, the people that I have met and things like that, they just got into stuff that I just wasn't.
I can understand that.
Into.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
So, and I will say I'm not the type of person that jumps on what everybody else is doing. So, nothing wrong with you being fully in a church and you doing this. That ain't my thing, right? So, if that's a big part of your life, me jumping into that, and that's just not my ministry, it's going to be
a clash.
It's a clash, right? Or people that's be smoking and stuff like that. I may have a cocktail or two, but I'm not a lush. Like, I very rarely have been like, I don't remember. I think I was maybe drunk a couple times, but like you would never know. I just get a little bit more goofy. But there are people that like, they got a problem. Right? And I don't want to be the hand holder. So you have that situation. So it's just a lot of, I'm a very particular type of person.
But maybe on like a smaller scale, like, do you think there are like some small things that you could do to be like, okay, this is just for me?
So I do, but then I'm just like, again, the things that are just for me, I don't know. I have not explored.
Yeah. Maybe the podcast, like, this is something that is outside of like everything else we do.
Yeah.
That, like, we don't have to do this. You know what I mean? But we enjoy it. We have fun. And like, I look at it like that. Like, this is something for me. Like, this is my podcast time. Yeah. So like, it doesn't matter whatever everything else is going on. And even though it's a new thing into my routine, like, I purposely carve out time for it because it's something for me. It's something I enjoy doing. Yeah. So that could be a thing.
Yeah, I think it's that. And then I think I have to get used to not being involved in everything.
Okay.
Because the thing is, what happens is like, I was like, can you drop me off? And I don't really be caring. I also feel like I don't want to be back and forth, and I don't like when people make me late to stuff. So this is the controlling mindset that I have for my family. But we were already close. So I was like, oh, drop me off. He's like, well, you don't want to drop me off? Because I said I was going to take Jayla to the mall. No, because I don't want y'all to get wrapped up into nothing. Drop me off. You can go home and put the food and stuff away so that we can start kind of getting stuff together. And then come pick me back up.
Right.
We're not playing the now y'all at Springfield.
Right.
And shit's going on. Because I was like, because if it wasn't going to Growlers, or it didn't go to or if we weren't going to go out and they were going to go to the mall, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But if we already have something else to do, y'all need to be at the house.
Yeah.
Because y'all don't
I think also too, in a situation like that, worst case scenario, like, I could take you home, you know what I mean? Or you could Uber or like whatever. Like, at least you free and you're not being held up.
Yes.
Which I can understand that feeling of like, it's not controlling. It's more so you don't want to be inconvenienced.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I don't want to be late, because I'm like, no, just drop me off. He's like, well, we can just go home. But my thing is, it's not like we live in this vicinity. Us going home is me coming back in traffic.
Right.
Or going home in traffic because 5 be acting crazy. Just drop me off and then you just come back.
Right.
So, not to tell her business, but I'm going to tell her business. A part of why we haven't been able to link in the last couple of weeks is because Avon, he likes, the techno music and all of that. A couple weeks ago, he went out of town to a big DJ concert. And so while he was gone, Kendra was the, I I don't want to say a single parent, but she was sole parenting that week. And so that week, she didn't even have time to like link up because she had all the kids, and they were doing their different things, and she had to be dropping them off and picking them up and watching them and all of that. And so that was a week where like I had a little bit going on, and she really didn't have anything going on, but he was out of town, so she had to, like she said, go to the grocery store, do all the meal prep, and do all of that week that he was out of town. And then not having anybody to like split those duties, it's all on her. And so, like I said before, we understand when we have different things going on. So I'm not going to say to her, oh, girl, find somebody to watch your kids so we can record the podcast. Like, it's not that serious. Like, she was solo that week, having to do everything. And so I was just like, you know what? Hey, we'll circle back to it when we're able to circle back to it, which unfortunately we just haven't been. But just to give you guys another example of like what's going on in the background, with us.
So this is the problem. For me to warm up to you, I got to be around you on a regular basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then once it gets to consistency, and I'm like, all right, they cool, and I kind of back off, then they'd be like, well, we don't hang out like we used to. Well, honestly, that's not really how I hang out anyway. So you either speed fast, I can get to know who you are, and then you get back into my normal routine of how I hang out with my friends, or you always in the normal routine with how I hang out with my friends, and I never get to know you.
Oh wow. But then okay, so I get that. I understand.
Because hanging out with somebody every 4 months,
I know
you won't fall off.
No, but you don't though. Because like that's my cadence, but I don't fall off with my friends.
Because y'all are already friends.
That's true. And but also too, we talk in between. But the thing for me is when that happens, sometimes it highlights to me that like I'm the one that's keeping it going. Because if I'm saying, oh, let's do this, oh, let's do that, whatever, and then we hanging out all the time, and then I don't say that, and then we don't hang out for 6 months, that to me, it'll flag like, interesting. When I don't come to you and say, hey, let's do brunch, hey, let's whatever, then we ain't. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I get what you're saying, but I also, it's weird because it's like, that is how I am. Like, I don't be wanting to hang out all the time, but then if we don't hang out because I didn't initiate it, I will be like, now why I ain't heard from you in 4 months? Even though low key, I'm not trying to do nothing, but I guess for me, I just want to like see the effort.
So, I mean, things just really have not changed. And so I want to talk about, or, explore, is that a good thing or a bad thing, right? On the one hand, watching this, I'm like, damn, it's the same shit, right? And we're really kind of in the same headspace now that we were then. On the one hand, I'm like, well, that's consistent, right? Like, at least we can say this is who we are authentically. Like, we don't lie about our personalities. Like, we're still these same people. But on the other hand, I feel like, is that bad that we have not grown? Or what does it say about us that we have not really changed at all from the things we were saying then to like being in the same position now? And maybe it is like we're just at the age of like, this is who we are, right? These are our personalities and this is who we are. But rewatching this and it being like a few years later and seeing that, yeah, I could say the same thing right now today that I said then. It's interesting to me, because we always talk about growth and changing, and, we do these New Year's resolutions, or what are you going to do different this year and things like that. And so to see, even for me to recognize that nothing has really changed in this area, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's something that I feel like, well, maybe I should have grown. Maybe things should be a little different now. Or if I'm like, well, that's who I am. I'm good with it. That's my authentic self. And now I can prove it, right? Like, I said the same shit then that I'm saying now. So that this is who I am. I don't know how I feel about that. Drop down in the comments so we could definitely have dialogue about that. Like, do you feel like you always have to be changing and evolving each year or like every phase of your life? Or is it okay to have parts of your personality that is consistent? Like, this is how I am. this is how I'm always going to show up. I'm just curious about that.
So yeah. But no, I've lost myself. You know, when I've lost myself, the worst is doing like postpartum. Mm-hmm. That loss, baby, you are in your brain watching a movie.
Wow.
All you see is your eyes doing shit, and you cannot control anything that's going on.
Damn.
It's like floating over top of yourself. And I was like, Kendra, what is wrong with you? You is tripping. I know if they want. I didn't see his. I had Joshua in January. In April. I did not actually see him. I used to see him, but I did not see his face again until December.
Wow.
When I would look at him, it just looked blank to me. It looked like a blank person.
Damn.
He said that he was like, I saw this the day that you saw me again. He's like, I could see it in your face. Like he was like, oh hey, what's going on? Like I saw you. And he said, and when you did, Joshua changed how he responded to me. I said, that's crazy work.
We definitely got to get into that one day. Because it's the literally the brain chemistry that happens. Like, it's a real thing.
It's a very scary thing, and I'm so glad I do it too. It happens for me to adults and not children.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, like, if I know that happened to me with him being an adult, I can only imagine what happens to someone that happens to them with their own child. And you don't see you don't see yourself, you don't see that child until 6-7 months. So imagine like the brain, like the lack of chemistry that's happening.
Wow.
But yeah, we could get it. Child, that was a hard one. But anyway, let's see if we got time for this last little boppity bop. Hold on, y'all. Let me get into it. Oh no, we did it.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. Oh.
What is the time looking like? Because I don't have my phone either.
I think it's like.
Did we do an hour?
No, I think we still owe y'all like not even 15 minutes. It's like
10.
Less than 10.
Okay. It was something that you had said you wanted to talk about.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. What did I say?
It wasn't the rallies. Was it the rallies?
But we kind of touched on that last week.
Okay.
So we don't have to get fully back into it. Okay. Here and there, because I didn't mention this last week, because I wanted to see if she was still going to pop out and show niggas.
Okay.
But Kamala been popping out a little bit.
A little bit here and there.
No, here and there, like, I needed a vacation.
I don't think she should, I feel like she should relax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that because she's a politician, she can't relax. But if it were me, I would be like, y'all said y'all didn't want me.
Yeah, but I also feel like she knows, because this is the thing. It ain't y'all, it's them.
Yeah.
And the people that are still very much so, I don't think we're looking for her to do anything. I do love seeing that she is still doing her. Yeah. Right? Going to the different shows or still being able to have conversation. It doesn't look like like he didn't force you to retreat. Right. I love that. Still be out here. Still talking shit. I may have not won this, but I also know that a lot of motherfuckers was riding for me. And I just want you to know I'm still here riding with y'all kind of thing. So I appreciate that. Because I don't want no wig trying to make her feel in no kind of way. So I will say this. I was having a conversation with one of my work colleagues. I said, what's so crazy to me is that to be a Republican, the only requirements that you have to cater to is abortion and go to church. That's all you have to talk about. Yeah. That's literally all you have to talk about. To be a Democrat, you have to talk about LGBTQ rights, aside from that, trans rights,
Mm-hmm.
black men rights,
Mm-hmm.
black women rights,
Mm-hmm.
black trans women rights,
Yeah.
Jewish rights. Like,
it's almost like everything else.
Everything else. You have to talk about literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a Republican, all you have to stand on is no abortions and go to church.
Also in their guns.
And their guns.
Yeah, they want to keep their guns.
Keep their guns. Keep my poopity pew pews. If you stay on those three, baby, you getting elected. Especially if you're a Caucasian man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, it kills me every time that the Democrats are doing that. You can't. It's basically telling you as a parent that you have to cater and be a different parent to every one of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 6 kids in your household. You don't think that that's going to run that parent ragged, but then the parent across the street just tell her kids, this is what you're doing, and that's it. And they get more respect than the parent that's jumping through all the freaking hoops
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that everybody is, not even everybody gets everything, but everybody gets something.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Republicans that don't even care if everybody gets something. Why? It just doesn't make sense to me where somebody's doing all of these, jumping through these hoops, trying to get financial aid, stuff for LGBTQ, for black colleges, white, like the whole gambit. Also, making sure people from other countries can come in here, be safe, have an asylum, having a better way of life. You have to take care of the world, and one person only got to do 3 things. Mm-hmm. That don't make sense to me. And honestly, the work was done, as we always say, for them over the years. Just be white. Literally just be white and just have a penis. It's crazy work.
I'm interested to see, how things are going to hash out in the next 4 years, because the big thing now is there's no leader of the Democratic Party. And I don't necessarily think we need a leader, but I do think that the party needs to be more unified. And like you said, we're not going to be able to address every topic. You got to pick, okay, this is what we're going to focus on. Because you can't focus on everything. And it's hard to do that because you don't want to lose anybody. But I just think in this game, in this fight, you lose people anyway by trying to cover so many different things.
So as we see with everything going on, nothing has really changed politically. Well, I take that back. We have seen some changes politically. I think the Republican and more conservative views have gotten more aggressive. I think that they're digging their heels in, and they're getting even more ridiculous. One change that I have noticed on the liberal Democratic side is they are starting to wake up to the idea that you cannot play nice, and they are starting to play just as dirty as their counterparts are. I can't say that I'm happy about that. I feel like they really didn't have a choice, but it definitely does make things, it makes us look bad as our government as a whole looks bad. And so I understand that they're doing what they quote unquote have to do. But the other part of it is that I think that both sides are being more exposed, and us as a people, we are now coming to the realization that even though I feel like we've been known this, that both sides are corrupt, I think we're really coming to the realization that there is much more corruption than we even fathomed. And in order for things to get better, we're going to literally have to have an overhaul, like getting rid of all these people who can be blackmailed, all these people who, are not saying anything on the right and on the left about what's going on because they're worried about their own reputation. Well, if you weren't doing fucked up shit to begin with, then you wouldn't be worried about that, right? But there's just so much corruption that, we constantly get into these stalemates and we can't move forward politically because of that. It's sad to say, but I think that is probably the only thing that has changed. And it's just interesting thinking about where we were 2 years ago and to see where we are now, and to see that there's been a steady decline, and the changes that have been made aren't really changes for the better. And so I'm not surprised. I'm just it's just sad to acknowledge that.
And that's the thing. The problem is, and this is what I know, Republicans want to keep people uneducated because the less educated you are, the more willing you are to stay complacent where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Most Democrats and people that are liberals are going to college. They are seeing more things. They are being introduced to stuff. And when you are introduced to new things, the requirements change, right? So when we've gotten older, right? I used to eat fried bologna sandwiches.
Right.
When I learned about ham and cheese and other things, I'm not touching that slab of bologna.
Yeah, I can't. It can't even stomach it. It's too salty.
I used to go to the Fridays, the Applebee's.
Mm-hmm.
When you start going to Morton's, when your money change a little bit, when things change in your life,
yeah,
Applebee's is like a McDonald's now.
Yeah.
But if your money is, oh, we got McDonald's at home, and then all of a sudden you got McDonald's money,
right?
That man can tell you anything.
Yeah.
Even McDonald's is not giving you out of the regular, like normal environment.
Yeah.
You went to college. Now you're meeting other people, trying different food, like opens your mind. So now when you are having a conversation with some of your friends and they talk about these illegal people, and you're like, well, now I've gone to your abuela's house and had her dumplings, and I could see how the relationship, she treat me like they're my own people.
Right.
How could I not want you to be here? How can I not want you to have a better life? Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you start, oh, we're going to make you have passports to get through the United States. Oh, we're going to leave the education to the state. The states want you, especially southern states, they want you to be as uneducated as possible because the lack of education will allow people to manipulate your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I need y'all to think about that. Because that's why we are where we are. And I'm sorry. And until men understand, get it through y'all thick skulls. Y'all are not the ones.
Yeah. But it's like you have to push us down to be number one.
But this is the reason why they are not number one is because they cannot create life.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of reasons why they're not number one is because they don't have empathy for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Men are mostly bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Difference between a boss and a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times to be a leader is a level of compassion that you have to have and a level of being able to control yourself in a time of things being hectic. More often than not, when things are hectic, men shut down completely.
I think now they do, but I fully agree with that. I think that men have the capacity to be those leaders. They have the capacity to have compassion and to do all of that if they allow themselves to. I think that, honestly, I'm not going to say, it's not a better or worse thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that men could be so in leadership roles just as powerful as a woman, but any leader, regardless of gender,
mm-hmm.
you have to be able to see things from a broad perspective
mm-hmm.
and decenter yourself and,
mm-hmm.
like you said, have that empathy. Because yeah, you stand up there and tell people what to do or whatever, but if you looking at a woman and you see her as beneath you, or you don't think that the things that she's asking for is as important as what the next person is asking for, that disqualifies you regardless of
mm-hmm.
gender.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's true. And I think sometimes more often than not, and I'll say this, it happens more often than not because I think for women, you get decentered a lot faster.
Immediately.
You know what I'm saying? When you have siblings, you don't even want to go into if you have a child. But even if you just have siblings, you are forced to take yourself out of the middle.
Yep.
And be in control. A lot of times in every household, women do this where they allow men to be the center of those households.
Yes.
So I think what ends up happening is you build bosses out of men
mm-hmm.
and leaders out of women because you're going out here, your little brother gets on the bus
mm-hmm.
and there are men that are to do the same thing. But I'm just saying, more often than not, you have women in those situations. And then don't add getting pregnant because you are no longer the center of anything.
Yeah.
Everything in your life changes, right? You can't do this, you can't smoke, there's nothing when life is created for that changes in a man.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've now, with all of the science and things like that, their sperm is one of the reasons why things are going on.
Yeah.
So should have changed their life and done things well before conception.
Yep.
So just like y'all, nope. I don't say this. Neither one of us are the ones, we just need to be at an equal playing field.
I really think that's how it was designed.
So, like I told y'all before, this episode, when it was recorded, I was having technical difficulties with it. And so at this point of the recording, as I'm trying to record it from my phone, it starts glitching. And so I ended up cutting the ending from a previous episode onto it just to like close out the conversation. But I'm sure y'all noticed how abruptly it ended. And, you know, this is kind of a part of, you know, what I do in the background, or what we do in the background when we have like technical difficulties and things like that, but we still want to get the episode out. You know, we're coming up with creative ways and thinking about how to keep the episode or keep things formatted in a way that our listeners are used to. But yeah, so that's why that happened like that. I'm sure, I mean, obviously y'all can see it, so I'm sure you could tell. But just to, you know, give you some context and some background, that's what was going on with that. However, we are going to go ahead and end it here and leave it here. Definitely drop down in the comments and tell me, you know, what you think and like what you guys want to see moving forward. I think we will get back to our traditional style of podcasting soon. But in the meantime, in between time where we're still trying to figure out our schedules and all of that, I'll be working on, you know, what we could do creatively to bring content. And I'm just interested in hearing your thoughts on what you guys would like to see. So that was another great episode. At least I thought it was. I hope you guys liked it. I know for some of our longtime listeners and loyal listeners, re-watching an old episode is not ideal. But this was just an idea that I was like, how can I get something to them, something fresh? And this is what I came up with. So if you hate it, listen, you can also drop down in the comments and tell me that. Like, I'm open to receiving that feedback. If y'all hate this, you know, then I won't do it again. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we will drink to that.